What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. We got another free pick for you for this Monday, August 5th, in the Phillies and the Dodgers game. It is the last game on the slate today. It's pretty late here in Tampa, Florida, so I'm going to keep my voice down. But yeah, we're going to do a full in-depth breakdown like we always do on this game, dive into some metrics, some angles, and some trends that we like that are ultimately backing up our free pick, which is the Dodgers money line. I posted a video yesterday on a line shopping bot that we offer in our premium channel. I highly recommend going and checking that out. It's a very useful tool and another reason and another perk of joining premium. We're coming off a 4-unit winning day yesterday, and we are back and firing today with the Dodgers money line will be your free pick today. The Dodgers at home, minus 135. That is your free pick today. It is a 1-unit play, and we are taking them on the money line. So as always, I'm going to start with my own personal written breakdown of this game. This incorporates other sites' breakdowns and other documents that I compile to make it easy for myself to read, and I can justify my reasoning and send this out to people if they're curious on why I like the Dodgers in this spot. So we'll start here. Aaron Nola is going to be the starter for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's been good this year. He's an 11-4 record with an ERA of 3.43 and 130 strikeouts this year. His past 3 starts, he's been doing well. He's been having quality starts in his past 4 starts with a 3-1 winning record and a 4.12 ERA. Now, the 4.12 ERA is a little deceptive because his xERA, meaning his expected ERA, is actually 4.6. So that means the law of averages state that his ERA will tend to increase, especially against a potent offense like the Dodgers. An xERA is factored in based on hard hit percentage, barrel rate from hitters, and launch angle, and then your implied chance of getting an out against each hitter based on what they're doing. So he's recording more outs on balls in play that should be hits, and that will ultimately shift more towards the batter favor, and that's what his xERA is indicating. Now, Tyler Glasnow has by far been the Dodgers' best starter. He is their ace, but he has struggled in his last 2 games. He's allowed 13 hits and 10 runs in his last 18 innings, but his ERA is lower than Aaron Nola's at a 3.63 ERA and just a 0.194 allowed batting average at home, and that's in 67 innings. So it's a very, very low batting average, especially with a sample size that's that high, 67 innings. You don't usually see that very often, but he is 6.23 ERA and 15 strikeouts in his career against the Phillies. Now, this has only been 3 games, and he wasn't even on the Dodgers for any of these games. So he has faced the Phillies, and he has historically struggled, but these were against completely different lineups. So that trend and that statistic doesn't matter as much, and it's not a relative or relevant data point that you should use as an angle. But even though Glasnow has not been as sharp as in his past few outings, he's definitely the Dodgers' ace, and he also receives 0.9 runs higher than league average in run support, meaning the Dodgers are scoring 0.9 runs above average when Glasnow starts than the league average, which is also a very good statistic to look at. And then the major discrepancy here is going to be the bullpens. So the bullpen for the Dodgers ranks 5th best in ERA. The Phillies are 15th. They rank 5th in saves. The Phillies are 14th. And 3rd in walks and hits allowed per inning, or whip. And the Phillies are 17th there. So there's a huge discrepancy there. And then just some trends to look at. The Dodgers are 33-19 as a home favorite. Their ROI is, I believe, about 8% if you were to take them straight up on the money line as home favorites. And the Phillies are only 7-7 as away underdogs. And that ROI is, weirdly enough, it's negative, just simply due to the fact that when they are drawing games, it's typically a negative number, even though in this specific trend they are underdogs. But the ROI does fall into that negative category overall, not just for that specific trend, but overall when the Phillies are on the road. And then we'll look into these bullpen stats that we just talked about. So ERA, as you can see here, the Dodgers are 4th in ERA, or 5th in ERA, with 3.57. The Phillies are all the way down here at 4.03, and the Phillies' expected bullpen ERA is also 4.55, so much higher than the Dodgers' expected ERA. We'll go here to saves. Cleveland first. Dodgers are once again fifth with 34 saves, meaning the back end, their closers. Blake Treinen's been great. Anthony Banda's been in that role a little bit. They are very, very good and efficient at getting these saves, whereas the Phillies are all the way down here at 27th. And they've also gotten rid of a few key pieces and have dealt with some injuries to their bullpen, so there's a reason for that as well. And then whip is one of the most important things in the MLB in terms of a bullpen category. The Dodgers are only 1.18, and the Phillies are all the way down here at 1.27. So a big discrepancy there in 0.09% in the whip between the two teams. And then we'll head over to Baseball Savant, where we can kind of in-depth get a look at all of Aaron Nola's pitching stats and his metrics here. As we can see, a lot of these are really good metrics. That's what the red means. But where he struggles is his fastball velocity and his off-speed run value. So how effective his off-speed actually is has a lot to do with run value and how much movement it has. And the Dodgers have hit off-speed pitching very well. And if you pair this with a guy who is not seeing a good enough run value on his off-speed, it's a recipe for a Dodgers offensive explosion, especially with fastball velocity also being lower. We saw this with the Dodgers, against pitchers like Joey Estes, other pitchers in the A's roster, especially on this homestand, when they're facing the Rockies a lot. They're facing guys like Kyle Freeland, Tyler Block, people like that who are similar to Aaron Nola in these two categories who have just gotten absolutely crushed by this Dodgers offense. And then we'll take a look at some of the pitcher versus hitter matchups here against Tyler Glasnow. So this shows all of the Philadelphia Phillies lineup or their projected lineup for tomorrow and how they fare individually against Tyler Glasnow. Now we can see these red numbers mean that is the change percentage decrease versus their typical. So if they're, at their first at bat, JT Realmuto has a 3% chance to get a home run. This is going to be 27% less of that 3% to get a home run just off Tyler Glasnow. And that has to do with Glasnow's pitch arsenal, how fast he throws it, his extension rate, his command, and all the basic pitching stats. As we can see, everybody in the Phillies lineup is decreased to hit a home run, decreased to hit an extra base hit, this is the run count, but most guys are decreased to hit home runs, extra base hits, base on balls too. Tyler Glasnow limits walks really, really effectively and are higher to strike out, obviously, because Tyler Glasnow has been electric with his stuff and electric at getting those strikeouts. And basically what this shows me overall is it's going to be hard for the Phillies to generate runs against Glasnow, except for the home run. We do see a few guys here that have an increased chance to get a home run. Once again, that's because Tyler Glasnow supplies a lot of that power that allows this Phillies lineup to hit home runs. But the weather tomorrow at Dodger Stadium is blowing in, so there will be a decreased chance for home runs just due to the weather, which this does not factor in. And lastly, we'll take a look at some of these trends here. As we can see, the Dodgers as home favorites. We'll type in that specific one. So that's home underdog. As a home favorites here, the Dodgers have one of the better records at 33-19 with a 63.5 win percentage and an MOV of 0.9. So all good numbers there. And then we'll go to the Phillies as away underdogs here. They're like plus 115 right now. They are down here somewhere, right here, 7-7, 50%, but their MOV is actually negative at negative 1.1. So with all that being said, all those trends, the stats, the numbers, the Dodgers being at home, they have a very, very high home field advantage playing at home. It's one of the harder places to play if you're a visiting team. But with all that being factored in, I expect to see a low-scoring game and the Dodgers to get a much-needed win at home. Best of luck as always, fellas, and we'll see you in the next one.